Welcome to Lawless Podcast with Justin and Clayton. I am Clayton, and this is my best bud, Justin, and you guys are in for a treat. We're here to chop it up,
Chop it up and give and hand out treats. That's what we do.
chop it up and handing them out.
Handing out treats.
Here you go, little buddy.
Um, yeah, have one of these.
Get in this van. I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah. Um, so I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm just going to be real honest. Like, I definitely 100% want to hear the story that I'm going to ask you, but I also really want to tell my own story.
Okay.
This is going to be one of those deals where it's like, did you just ask the question just so you could tell your story? And that's not what it is. But it's gone away. It's not as pronounced as it was. But yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
What's going on with your face there, homie?
Oh, my moneymaker. I got a little bruise on my face. I started jujitsu here.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah, I started jiu-jitsu. I've been a white belt in jiu-jitsu about 3 times. I'm a second degree black belt in taekwondo, but after the Navy, when I was going through the academy at the sheriff's office, and I've heard about jiu-jitsu a bunch from like Joe Rogan and podcasts and this and that. But when I was going through the academy, Tony Farias, one of the DT instructors, um, just made me useless, made me
Yeah,
immobile in the combatives training. So that's the first time I knew like this jujitsu stuff, something is worthwhile to look
there's something
into,
to it. Yeah.
something to it. Um, so like I said, I've been a white belt a couple of times while I was when I was there in Kansas. Well, when we moved here to Alabama, I was actually looking for a spot before we moved because I've always known that it's worthwhile to get back into it. There is a gym down the block and around the corner from my neighborhood.
Okay.
So we've been here for about 6 months. At the beginning of the year, I told Ashley, is I knew it was going to be useful for me, but also for Cash. I'm like, we really need to get back into jujitsu. So last week, me and Cash went for our free trial class, and then we signed up, got some gis and got some rash guards, and have been
Do
going
you
there.
do you walk there in your gi? I hope you do. I hope you do.
No, no,
Would
I
you
don't.
consider it?
Yeah, I would absolutely
That
consider it.
that's kind of the equivalent of like you see somebody maybe exercising their rights and walking down the street, with a rifle or something like that.
Uh-huh.
It's probably the same level of terror. You see a dude just walking down the street in his gi
Do
with
you
his
think?
white belt,
Yeah, I think you
calling the
already
cops
know
suspicious character.
for sure. I'm pretty sure you could already guess the answer to this. But do you think I went home from Taekwondo wearing my gi and my black belt? Yes,
100%.
100%.
I'm not gonna lie. There was a guy, and he was really good. He was a black belt. There was a guy at the gym I went to that would wear like you. I've seen him out. Specifically, he was at a jiu-jitsu tournament, but he was wearing his black belt
Oh wow.
as a belt,
Oh,
as his jeans belt.
oh, okay.
Uh, which I mean, honestly, dude, if you've got it, like,
Yeah, if
who's
you got
good?
it, flaunt it, homie.
Who's gonna tell you not to?
Well, my second paid for class that I went to, our classes are pretty good. They're like 40, 45 minutes of technique. Well, like the first 30 minutes, you're just learning the
Are,
technique.
are you and Cash in the same class, or is there a kids class?
There's a kids class and adult class. I go to the lunchtime class because I'm
Oh, that's
going,
right. That's right.
yeah. I go to lunchtime class. He goes to the afternoon class, but it's even still there. It's adults and children are separate. I would like to throw around some kids,
Put him in a
but
nice armbar.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, the last 15 minutes of the class is just rolling. Like it was like, okay, you guys, now we're gonna do, I think it's like 5 minute rounds.
Okay.
I in life, and it's articulate, it's on display in jujitsu. It doesn't matter how much I know, like I can be a know nothing white belt, but if you tell me to go with someone, I'm gonna go.
Right?
And there's only one white belt in the lunchtime class, and that's me. There's a couple blue belts and like some purples and browns, and of course the instructors are in there. Well, I teamed up on my last session. My first role was with this blue belt, and he was smaller than me, so I was kind of able to exert my dominance on him. Well, afterwards, the instructor was like, "Okay, now you roll with Derek." And I went with Derek. Derek is he's my age, my size. He's a prior Navy guy. And so we were talking, chopping it up. He's like, "All right, let's go." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Slap, bump, and I immediately go to 100.
What's his rank?
He's a blue belt.
Okay.
He's been doing it for like 3 years, I think he said. But I immediately go to 100 on this guy. I'm like, okay, double leg, try to do that. And he gave me what I was asking for, homie. So he wrapped me up, and I was still able to like. What ended up happening is I was on my back, and he got me in an arm triangle. But before he got it in, I knew enough to like plant my chin and try to create enough space.
Mhm.
Well, he was just slowly sinking it further and further in, like an anaconda.
Mhm.
And I once he finally got it in, I tapped and I couldn't go any more rounds. Like I was having an asthma attack, is what it felt like. I got
Yeah.
in vapor lock because I exerted 100% of my oxygen in
Yeah.
in the roll. And afterwards, the instructor came up to me. He's like, "It looks like you got a little scratch or something right there on your face." I'm like, "Oh, okay," not know anything about it. Well, I come home. I didn't know if it was a scratch or not, but as I took a shower and was feeling around, it wasn't a scratch. It was a bruise. My own arm. He mushed my arm
Oh.
against my
Okay.
face, and my nose is still pretty sore. I don't know if you can sprain your nose. I don't think it's broken, but it's still pretty sore.
It's bent.
It's bent. It's bent a little. Yeah, I got a bruise from my own arm getting smushed into my face.
Dang.
So I immediately had to take a picture and send it to you and T-Bone and be like, looky here.
Yeah. You know, there I did jujitsu for a while and did a couple tournaments and just got my ass kicked like very quickly in both tournaments. But the first one, I don't know what the division was because I was going against a like youth. The youth system is different than the adult system, and so
Oh, I
this
thought you were
kid.
saying you were going against the youth in the
Oh, well,
tournament.
I think he was 17.
Okay.
Maybe he was 18. I don't know. He was a green belt. Um, and he's
Green
just
belt.
yeah. Which, from what I understand, I believe that that's the highest you can get in the youth
Okay.
system. I think. Um, but this kid was kind of lanky and he talked funny. And you know the way this tournament was set up is before your match, you're just kind of in this bullpen area. You know, there's probably 50 people back in this bullpen area, and then you just wait your turn. And so I figured out who I'm going against, and I'm listening to him, and I'm like, okay, dork. Like I'm gonna go easy on this kid, you know, because I wasn't trying to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Um, so
Nice of you.
we start, and I'll bet it was less than 30 seconds, and he had me just wrapped up. And I had gone for a double leg takedown, actually. And he just had me wrapped up in a guillotine and was like, nope, pulled me right
Hmm.
up. And I was like, damn, that's not how I saw this going.
So
Um,
fast.
the next one it was a guy he's roughly my age. He was a white belt. And he had me on my back, and he just had just chest pressure.
Yeah.
Like he was just pushing all his weight against me. And dude, I came so close to just biting him. Like I had no other options. Like my brain was like, bite this
Bite him.
guy right in his chest.
Bite his tit off right now.
That was the only thing my brain could come up with. Um, and I don't remember. I ended up messing up my. Oh no, that's what it was. I tried to do a like a leg sweep or something, and my leg got caught up. I ended up tearing my MCL, breaking my tibial plateau, and I think I tore my meniscus.
I didn't
Well,
know that.
yeah, yeah, dude. I went to work the next day. I wrapped it up super tight, and I had my crutches in the back seat of my car because I was like, You don't call in sick for being hurt.
Yeah, why
Work.
would you?
Yeah. But so yeah, we fell and he landed on top of me, and so I was in that I was in quite a bit of pain to begin with, but then he just had me like totally incapacitated. Like there was nothing I could do. The only thing that even made sense to me was bite this guy's titty,
I went,
and I didn't. I wish I had.
no, that's nice of you. I went to one of the times I was a white belt in Kansas. I was going to Fox Fitness there. At the time, it was in on North Mays. I don't know if he's moved, but Tony was also a student there at Fox, and I talked him into going. I was like, "Hey, come on, let's go to the gi class." He's like, "Oh, all right." I think he was a brown belt at this point, but he's significantly heavier than me, and
He's he's really strong too. Like he's
yeah,
a big dude.
he's a beast. Well, he of course was just tying me in knots. He was going easy on me, just letting me flounder, but he put his belly on my face, and I just could not breathe. Like I'm trying to do whatever, but it's like
Yeah, yeah, dude.
there's just no air coming
That's
in.
that's such a helpless feeling.
Oh my God. Well,
Which
I
honestly, I think everybody needs to experience. To be
it's
honest,
very healthy for your ego,
yeah,
especially as a second degree black belt in Taekwondo, you know.
yeah, and not just for your ego, but to have to lay there and think, okay, I'm not going to spaz out of this. I'm not gonna power through it. Like I'm going to have to use some techniques and
Yeah.
just take my time and figure it
And if you have no technique,
out. Then you're screwed.
so I tapped, and that was the first time I had tapped to someone just smothering me.
Yeah,
And
the
he
old
was like,
pressure tap.
"Yeah," he was like, "Did you just tap to pressure?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude. I had no other choice." At my first class here at Checkmat, I was rolling with a heavier guy, and he sat on my belly, and it was just all air was just was just gone. And I'm Captain Go Hard. I'm trying to, muscle my way
It's
through
gonna
this,
bust out of this.
which is just using up even more oxygen. Whatever oxygen I had left in my blood was just getting sucked out. And at this point, I knew I was like, okay, you're just tap, just get off here. And it was really demoralizing with this guy. But then afterwards, I was talking to the other people. I'm like, man, I was just so helpless once he sat on me. And they're like, oh, that guy? Yeah, that's what he does. He'll sit on you and just get all the wind out of you.
It's
Like,
like
oh,
the earthquake from WWF back in the
for
day.
real.
Um, so I mean, we're both doing pretty manly things.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing jujitsu. I started playing football.
Oh,
Um,
did you?
yeah, and not like I mean, most Americans probably call it soccer. Um,
Oh, okay.
not this guy. It's football, and
Okay.
it's not a soccer field. That's what your kid plays on. This is a pitch. Okay,
Oh, all right.
we're playing on the pitch. Yeah,
Right.
and yeah, man, I feel like I'm pretty terrible, but making progress.
Yeah.
Uh, yesterday, I've got this. I'm in a difficult spot because I stepped on the ball last night and twisted my
On
ankle pretty bad.
purpose? Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
That answers that.
Yeah, I sprained my ankle pretty bad. It's pretty swollen up, bruised, pretty gnarly. But on my other foot, I did something to my Achilles tendon,
Mm.
and so I'm limping on both feet. it's so on my right foot, I kind of have to step on the toe, like the ball of my foot, and my left foot, I kind of have to step on the heel, just to find a spot where where it's not super painful. So
You
it's
got a nice
pretty
pimp walk going on.
it's pretty awkward. It's pretty awkward walking right now. And on top of that, like that doesn't account for just the regular soreness from all that running, from all that sprinting.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so yeah, I'm kind of doing this thing where I'm limping on both feet and I'm walking gingerly because my quads are feel like I'm
Sore.
taking a bat to both of them. Um, but yeah, it's
I
pretty fun.
Yeah, I played AYSO soccer in middle school and high school, and it was competitive. It wasn't like the type where the kids do now where they don't keep score and everyone is best friends afterwards. We had
No, this is for
tournaments.
keeps.
This is for keeps, son. Especially if I'm playing.
You better believe it.
Uh, my favorite position where always end up getting positioned was midfielder. I
Okay.
loved being a midfielder because you could run up and down the entire length, and you can defend and score as a midfielder.
Yeah.
I loved being a midfielder just because of that, like
Yeah.
Captain Go Hard. I loved a couple times I got cards called on me, and it was for running into people. Like just looking to my left and running straight. And I remember one time I clocked a dude, and like my head hit his, and he was out. He was out the
Dong.
game. Dong. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, we we can cut this if we need to. Okay,
sure.
so I'll just throw this up here. I wanted to look at you, but I couldn't look at you. Um, did our guest did he talk about a dong party
No.
or a dong? Maybe it was a dong
It was
game.
a game. It was a
Yeah,
game.
I could have sworn he said a dong game, and I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
the Dong Show. The Dong Show. I think that's a callback to where
Well, I think it
like
was the Gong Show.
it was the Gong Show.
Okay,
Did
great.
he s-
I swear he said dong, and I was so confident that I couldn't look at your screen just in case you heard the same thing.
Well, that shows maturity on your part.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Um, I was trying to hang on every word, and I think we both did hang on every word he was saying. But I know what you're talking about when he said the Gong Show.
we'll have to play it back because my mind heard dong, the dong game. I was just like, well,
Well,
I mean,
when in Alabama, I guess.
whatever, I guess.
No. That's an episode will either come out before or after this. That's an episode queued up. That was Dr. Vincent Bradley, who we just got done interviewing. He wrote a book, Against All Odds. I met him at a book signing at our local Barnes and Nobles here in Spanish Fort, which is the town north of me. That's like the fancy town. If if where I live in Daphne, it's not quite equivalent to this, but if where I live in Daphne is Hayesville,
Okay,
Spanish Fort is Derby.
Derby. Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say because Derby's kind of
They
the
think they
cream,
are,
kind of the cream of the crop around here.
especially if you ask them.
That's right, or not.
Okay,
Yeah, even if you don't, we're still pretty vocal about our ranking.
your prestige
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
as far as
Um,
South Wichita towns go.
um, so um, one of the things that I wanted that so we didn't record last week,
Yeah,
and so we missed a lot of um, current events.
you take a week off, it
You
turns out
you
World War III
you
starts.
miss a week, you miss a lot.
You miss a lot.
Um, yeah. So what's new on the radar? What's going on in the world today? That
Oh man.
there
Um,
there was
so
something last week specifically that I was thinking, oh, we got to talk about this, but I don't remember what it was.
was it the beginning of that's when we started offensive operations in Iran was last week. Was it wasn't that
I don't even freaking know because I can't keep track because every day there's something
for
something
real?
brand new. Um, but speaking of that, oh, maybe it was the State of the Union.
Oh yeah, that happened.
Dude, I couldn't even watch it. I,
Yeah.
I literally watched about 30 seconds of it, and I don't even know what he was talking about. But he was said something about like if you support blah blah blah, please stand to show your support. And it was half of the Democrats were sitting, the Republicans were standing, and he was making a big deal about do you see who's standing? And I was like, this is just such utter bullshit theater.
Yeah.
That's like I got no interest in it. It's just theater.
There was one part of that State of the Union address, and I didn't watch it. I saw highlights and I heard commentary on it. But there was one part of that State of the Union address that I thought was pretty telling, and it's a pretty good example of just like the political loyalty, like the blind loyalty on both sides,
Mm.
but on how they like they're so missing the plot. Trump was saying if you support this, stand up and applaud. If you think we're doing good here, stand up and applaud. Well, there was that at one point he asked the question, if you think your goal as a representative is to support the citizens over the undocumented citizens, stand up and support. And of course, all the Republicans stood up and applauded, and none of the Democrats stood up and applauded. And I get how that's obviously a politically, it's sad how today that's a politically divisive trap for people to fall into. But I think that the Democrats fell in that trap. From his point of view, it would have been the right side of the House, but when you're looking at the speaker stage, it's the left side. No one stood up and applauded for the question of, do you think it's your goal or you think it's your duty? Are you there? I think they fell in the trap. The Democrats fell in a trap that he laid for him. If he's nothing else, he's a showman and a TV personality. But what?
That's what he is
Yes.
a salesman.
Yes, exactly.
Salesman.
But when he said, if you think it's your goal to support the citizens of the place you represent over the illegal immigrants, stand up and applaud. And like I said, just the Republicans stood up and applaud. Man, everyone should have stood up at that point. Like I get it. I know, and I've preached on here and I've cited case law on how the Constitution protects everyone, not just the citizens. But a representative, their first priority should be the citizens of the place they represent.
Yeah. Yeah, but you nailed it. There's just so much political. There's so much politics attached to all of
Yes.
that they you couldn't
Yeah.
because and it's the same on both sides of the house for sure. But that's why in fact, I'm pretty sure that's the part that I saw where I was just like, this is just theater.
Yeah.
It's just bullshit.
Man, um, I know we're gonna get into this more later, or at least I hope so, but the he did another conference or another speech that I just saw the highlights for, but his message in this speech, which just happened in the last couple of days, was about how anti-Semitism is a big problem in the country and how now he's going to direct like the Department of Justice and the Department of Homeland Security or whatever to start investigating critics of Israel. He's going to start guiding the Department of Justice to start. Oh, I was going to talk about, oh, what I was saying is
Oh,
he had a speech about he's going to start directing the Department of
yeah, yeah.
Justice. And
I'll tell you, man. A lot of the things that people were saying before the election, a lot of the things they were afraid of, I'd completely written off. Like,
yeah, oh, you're
no,
being crazy.
you're being ridiculous. You're being dramatic, or you drank the Kool Aid, or you're being lied to, or whatever. I'm not. I'm not as confident. I mean, I still like to think that there's enough safeguards in place that we could avoid some of the scenarios. But I could see people being arrested for what's determined as hate speech
Yeah,
against Israel or whoever, um, like you're seeing in other countries. We've already seen people being arrested and people being deported and for political reasons.
yeah.
Um, I'm not as convinced as I was a couple of years ago.
Man, it's scary. I think that there still is room to right the course. I think like there still is the opportunity to right the ship a little bit or to where it needs. But man, right now, like in March 8th, 2026, it does seem pretty dystopian and pretty Orwellian right now. It seems like Brave New World type stuff going on, 1984 type stuff going on, where thought police and speech police. Well, I mean, we're already seeing speech police, but definitely thought police of like you're not allowed to say or even think out loud things that just things in general, which should be a violation of the First Amendment, which is a violation of the First Amendment. But also, man, you're not allowed to point out glaring problems that we have. Like, you don't have to be anti anything or no type of racist to see, like, hey, a foreign government should not have this type of sway over our own government. Marco Rubio came out flat out and said it. And I was a critic of this last year when we had the 12-day war in Iran, which we followed Israel into attacking Iran unprovoked, unprompted. Um, but I said back then that I think that's a violation of the Constitution, and other people said, well, he has the War Powers Act, which allows him to deploy the military in states of emergency for national defense. I was like, okay, well, what was the threat from Iran? There was none for the US. Well, Marco Rubio just came out at a press conference the other day, and since then they've tried to walk this back, but he already said what everyone knows. He said that the reason we started this war unprompted and unprovoked against Iran was because Netanyahu told Donald Trump that Israel was going to attack them. And since we have so many bases in the area, we knew that Iran was going to retaliate against the American bases. So to stop Iran from retaliating against America because of Israel, we had to go in and attack Iran first. We had to attack them before they attacked us. That was the rationale. So Netanyahu is dictating where, and there have been American servicemen and women. Oh, I don't know about of women, but there's been at least four or six, depends what reports you hear. At least four American service members die in these retaliatory attacks from Iran. That, from what they say and what you can very rationally put together, is an act of defense on their part because we are attacking them. And so to defend themselves, they're attacking the bases that these attacks are coming from. And yeah, American service members are dying because Benjamin Netanyahu started this war and we went along with it.
And what's the motivation from Israel? Why do they want us in this war?
Oh, they want us to die for them. They want to use American servicemen and women and American assets and American money so they don't have to spend their own. And their own is also American. It's all funded by us. Like our taxpayers are why Israel has free healthcare and free education and free housing in a lot of the places. So yeah, I mean,
Now, I think you're the one that told me this a while ago that one of the reasons Iran was one of the reasons we've had issues with Iran for so many years is because they don't participate in the game,
yeah,
right? Like they don't participate in the.
they're
They
not on
have,
our banking system. They're not in our oil system. They have their own oil. They don't need our banks. And they have, yeah, their own thing. They don't have to participate.
yeah, and so in doing this, we can set up we can choose their new government for them,
Hmm.
and we can get them to play ball and essentially force them to participate in the market.
Which is not the first time we've done this. In the 30s, we led a coup, led protest, and funded and trained a military coup that took out their democratically elected president, and installed their Shah. They had, which it was a military general. I forget his name right now, it escapes me. But I did an episode on this for Lawless in the Exhibit A series that I was doing and need to do some more eventually. But we funded and trained and helped them lead a military coup, which set up their Shah, their royal, their king that they had for some years. Well, then he nationalized BP, the British petroleum that was in there, and said, "Hey, instead of England and the US taking all of our oil, we're going to go ahead and claim this as Irani oil and Iran and whatever." And then we helped train, and not wasn't as blatant as the first time, but we opened the door for the Ayatollah. And the Ayatollah, the original Ayatollah Khomeini, was selected by the CIA. Not as in they said, "Hey, you're going to be it," but as in they said, out of all the options, we're going to let this guy take the throne. And so we opened the door for the radical Islamic government that they had too. We set that up. And same thing, they said, we're not going to participate in your banks. We're not going to participate in your oil. So there's been the rest of the world, except for Korea, Russia, and China, has closed, and India to a degree, has closed all business with Iran. So we made them our enemy. We made them collide themselves, whatever, coalition themselves with the communists and with our boogeymen, who also, same thing, they just chose not to participate in our game. And now we done it again. You're doing it. Keep on doing it.
I saw an article the other day that um, there was a video of Trump talking about how great we're doing and how easy the effort is going, all this kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
basically, we've been given a bunch of propaganda.
Yeah.
I wonder, I wonder about that. I wonder how
Well,
things.
I heard there Tim Dillon had a really good episode just released, maybe yesterday, but I listened to it part yesterday and part today. Let me get it so I can uh name the two guys. He had these two guests on that were these journalists. Oh well, it, with Ryan Grimm and Jeremy Scahill were these two kind of independent journalists that have been uh documenting a lot of this stuff recently. But yeah, they pointed out how even his top generals, because Pete Hegseth has had this he came in there and cleaned out shop for all the generals and admirals that weren't going along, that weren't MAGA enough. He went in and just fired them all. Well, even the top MAGA generals that he is listening to told him this isn't going to be a cakewalk. Like, they have sophisticated air defense, they have a very sophisticated navy, they have a very sophisticated ground military. Um, the Irani Revolutionary Guard, the IRGC, and this isn't going to be as easy as you think it is. Well, the problem is he has all these other people in his cabinet. He's all these yes men and yes women that said, "No, you're the greatest. We're the greatest. We can go in and topple them." See how easy the 12-day war was? We're just going to go in and do Venezuela. We're going to do Venezuela on them. Well, the problem is they're not Venezuela.
Yeah.
And so, like you're saying, if you Israel has a total media blackout right now. Like, they're not allowed to report on the constant damage that they're taking. But if you go to like clips on Instagram or TikTok, Tel Aviv is getting hammered just every day. Their Iron Dome has been rendered basically useless. They're getting, and it's precision. I've heard that they're not just targeting like willy-nilly hospitals or whatever that Israel did in Gaza, but they're going after military installations and government installations, but they are getting hammered. And I mean, almost immediately, Bahrain, the Navy base in Bahrain, which I spent a lot of time at, my wife has spent a lot of time at. I have friends there right now. I have friends from from the Navy that are at that base, and immediately that base was getting missiled. Immediately that place was getting rocketed, and service members had died. There, Jordan, Qatar, Dubai, I think are the four places that have been hit pretty hard by Iran. But there's a lot more American military bases than just that there. We're still in Iraq. We still have military presence in parts of Afghanistan, which is right next to um, Iran. There's still a lot of service men and women in that area that were immediately not just put in danger, were killed because of this. Iran is not Venezuela.
Yeah. And you're also, so people talk about how good of a negotiator he is and the art of the
Yeah.
deal. And I'm like, bro, you're not selling a hotel
No.
like this. You probably need to have some people around you that know what they're talking about, that aren't just going to tell you yes, probably shouldn't have gotten rid of all of the experience and leadership that you got rid of because they didn't like you.
Yeah,
But and that's kind of scary. Like that's that's what we've got.
that's what we got.
We got a
The
showman who
yeah,
sells hotels, just listening to people that are afraid to tell him no.
he fires everyone that tells him no.
Yep.
The one of the current leaders of Iran was on a talk show here recently. I saw a clip of it, and they asked, "Will you continue negotiations with?" Because Trump called for the immediate surrender of Iran, and this
Immediate and unconditional, I believe.
immediate and unconditional surrender of Iran and their military and their government. And this, I want to say president or prime minister, but I'm not for sure on that. This leader said, no, we're not going to negotiate with them. We've been in negotiations with them this whole time. And while we're in negotiations, they attack us. So, no, we're not going to negotiate with President Trump. He said that he feels unfortunate that American service members had to die, but it's the same thing. It was in defense of Iran that they had to do this. There's been two, at least that I know of, at least two American F-15s shot down over Kuwait. Friendly forces, the Kuwaitis, have shot down American F-18s because they thought they were Iranian aircraft. And both of those pilots, I think, were unharmed, but one of them was like in a pretty immediate threat of getting clubbed. Like there was a
I
group of
saw that.
men surrounding him with sticks and stuff, and he had to pull out, no, no, no. See, I'm an American. But thank God they were able to eject. That's
No
still
doubt.
millions of dollars worth of aircraft.
No doubt. How does that happen? How do they how how do they mistake
Not, I
friendly?
mean, it's poor military performance. The military should be in constant communication with all of our allies, but obviously they weren't. They should say, our military should tell them, "Hey, these are American F-18s," but obviously they didn't get that message. They shot down two of them, at least two of them that I know of. So I mean, the like you said, they got rid of all of the experience and leadership that would have been effective at doing this, and it's not going so well. Which sucks because we do have the greatest military in the history of the world. I mean, maybe, yeah, we do have the greatest military in the history of the world. But when you get rid of the actual knowledge and the actual, good leadership in there, you get stuck with what's left.
Mhm.
Pretty reminiscent of what the Soviet Union did whenever they took power. They took the military and got rid of everyone who wasn't towing the party line. The Nazis did the same exact thing. As soon as they came in, they took over the military, and whoever wasn't on that National Socialist movement, they sent to the gulags, they sent to prisons or the camps. We're doing the same thing.
Yeah, which is particularly scary when you think about we've talked about before. Like he's a guy that just can't walk anything back.
Right.
He can't admit that he was wrong.
Oh no.
He can't admit that he failed.
The only
Or
thing he does is double down.
that's it. Which interesting. And maybe it's just because the news can only talk about so much at a time. I haven't really been hearing about ice stuff.
Oh yeah.
Has has that slowed down? Have they changed course, or is it just not? There's just not enough time on the broadcast to cover it all.
There has been an interesting development with Homeland Security, something that I was kind of hoping that would happen. It didn't happen in the exact way that I wanted it to, but it still happened. Was Christy Nome went and testified in front of a congressional committee, and she got grilled. She got raked over the coals. Kind of the same way Pam Bondi did, except Christy Nome is not Pam Bondi. She doesn't have the same vocabulary or experience. She's not a lawyer like
Mm-hmm.
Bondi. So she just got destroyed. And I'm pretty sure it was either the night of that congressional hearing, if not the day after, she was axed. She was fired. Marco Rubio gave her a job in like some position they created as like the American Shield or whatever. She's going to be a now part of that.
Okay.
that branch. But Christy Nome got axed. One of the
And
things,
she was the head of Homeland
Homeland
Security.
Security, which ICE is under.
Okay.
Um, One of the things they brought up is there is this company that got founded in 4 days after its founding, and it was founded by political this congressman, I can't remember his name, but called them political operatives, were just like these MAGA yes men, got like a $42 million contract 4 days after their founding. They don't have an address, they don't have a phone number, they don't have a website you can go and look up. It was just these guys that were in the club said, "Oh, you're starting a new thing? Well, we're going to
We'll
start a
do
shell
that.
company." Yeah, we'll do that.
What was the contract for? Like, what was the business?
She didn't know. That was what they were asking her. Like, what do these people do? I don't know. Who's in charge of it? I'm not aware. Do you know where this place is located? I'm not. And she wrote him a check for
Holy
$42 million.
cow!
dollars. So, I mean, you wonder why. I mean, it's not the reason, but you wonder why our dollar is so worthless. I mean, on top of all the weird inflation and weird, market manipulation, it might also be because we just print this money out and give it to whoever we want.
Yeah, yeah, and that's no small amount of money. Even on the the national scale where our budget is whatever trillions or billions of dollars, who knows? $42 million is still a significant amount of money.
Yeah, you figure Homeland Security doesn't get all of our national budget. They get that small little piece. And of that small little piece, $42 million is pretty significant. And this was like an extra budget they got for their big push, for their big hiring, for their big their mass deportations that they wanted to do, which they haven't done. There hasn't been any mass deportations. There's been very poor deportations, and the ones that they're doing have been done very poorly.
Yeah,
Like they're out of their big promise that they said they were going to do, they haven't done, and the little piece that they're trying,
they're screwed up.
they're screwing it up.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was one little piece, but it's been overshadowed by I call it World War III now because at first it was just against Iran, but now it's come out and Russia has even confirmed this that Russia is providing Iran intelligence on American targets. Like, hey, you want to know where to target? Russia's given them that. And I think China was talking about supporting them economically, like giving them dollars for defense. So it's no longer just against. I mean, dude, we could turn on go to our social media news source or turn on the news tonight and find out that they've actually committed troops. Like we're right there. They're already giving them intelligence and funding. Like this is World War III. Hopefully it doesn't escalate to to the worst part that can look like. But American bases in Cyprus, an American Air Force base in Cyprus, was attacked. Iran denied that, and it turns out that I learned this from that Tim Dillon podcast that it turns out even the British the British Air Force base that was attacked there that Americans were at, even they're saying that this missile didn't come from Iran. It looks like it came from Lebanon. Well, what military bases are in Lebanon? Israeli military bases. Now, I'm not going to start a conspiracy here, far be it from me, but it wouldn't be the first time there has been false flag attacks to draw America into conflicts. The Vietnam War was based off of a false flag attack, the Gulf of Tonkin. The Gulf of Tonkin incident never really happened. That was a false flag intel thing. They It turns out that American forces blew up a decommissioned naval ship out there and then blamed it on the North Vietnamese. The North Vietnamese never did that, but that's what drew us into offensive operations in Vietnam.
hmm
Could be something similar that happened here at that British Air Force base where American troops were at and American aircraft were at that got missiled by Iran. Iran said we didn't do it, and now even the British are saying probably didn't come from Iran, came from Lebanon, and the only military bases there that have the capability of shooting a missile there are Israeli. So who knows?
Hmm.
It doesn't bode well. It doesn't give you the warm and fuzzies.
No. Um, Another thing I haven't been hearing a whole lot about is what's going on in Mexico. Are they still raging?
They're still raging. I saw this thing, Ed's manifesto at Ed Calderon. He showed this on his Instagram. The cartels now are mysteriously in control and in possession and control of those black Shaheed drones, those one-way attack drones.
Okay.
So now the cartel, I don't know what progress Mexico has made, but I know that now the cartels are using drone warfare and attack drones. And one of my buddies I was talking to from the Navy, he's still in, I'm not going to say who he is, but he was telling me before, and I think I mentioned on here, how it's all drones. Like you can spend 800,000, $1 million on a missile, and that's kind of the cheap ones. Like a Hellfire missile, I think now is like $800,000 a pop. Or you can spend 500, 1,000, maybe $5,000, $10,000 on a really advanced one-way drone, and that is defeating all of our counter missile, technologies that we have. So who knows? The cartels are in possession and control of these one-way attack drones that are
Where
a lot
where
cheaper.
where are they getting those from?
Well, I don't know. The Shaheed drones themselves are the ones that the Iranians developed, but we know that they've been selling these drones all over the world as a revenue maker. So maybe they could be coming from Iran, or maybe they could be coming from someone else who bought them from Iran. Something that's interesting about those Shaheed drones is a couple months ago, and this that isn't getting talked about at all anymore, but there was a U.S. funded Ukrainian company that was producing these like navigation parts and was caught selling them to Iran. So an American funded Ukrainian company that was building these drone parts was selling those drone parts to Iran for these Shaheed drones. They call them the black Doritos. They look like a black triangle.
Okay.
Those Shaheed drones, at least in part, some of them were equipped with American funded parts. Your tax dollars, my tax dollars, is going to fund both sides.
Kind of makes you wonder, kind of confirms to me that the whole thing is the whole purpose of the machine is just to stay in constant conflict.
Oh yeah,
Con-
that's how they
const-
stay.
Constant war.
Uh, the quote that's been getting thrown around a lot lately on social media, but it was a quote by Napoleon Bonaparte that when a king feels like his peasants are going to revolt, he'll start a war. And I mean, if that's not black and white of what's been going on now with Epstein, all the corruption, all the ICE,
Mm-hmm.
everything, like as soon as we start to say we've had enough, oh look, war.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have to focus on that because I mean, who knows how far this thing can go or will go. We know it can go pretty western. Thank God. I mean, and Iran has never had missiles that could reach the US. Never. And they haven't pursued, to my knowledge, they haven't pursued that intercontinental. But they have had missiles that can go anywhere within like a 500-mile radius of their geographical locations, which
Okay.
because of our constant conflicts and because of our constant world policing, we have American service members in that area that they can and have been directly harmed. Uh, but what if what if those missiles end up in Mexico in the hands of cartels? Well, why, we know who's funding and training the Mexican military. Wouldn't it be smart for them to go after the hand that's funding and training their enemies, the
Mm-hmm.
Americans?
Have you heard any more about whether we've got assets assisting in Mexico, or if we're directly involved, or what our involvement is.
Well, I know last year this was pretty open that Donald Trump, the Trump administration, had committed American Special Forces in an advisory role, and we were performing ISR, intelligence, something in recon, doing drone flights and gathering intelligence for them and transportation of them. But I don't know if any American members are directly, definitely not overtly engaged in conflicts against them. But it's probably pretty safe to say, and like I said, it is acknowledged that we're giving them intelligence and training.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kurds that have volunteered to jump up and fight, that go all around that northern part of the Gulf, the Arabian Gulf. There is a Kurd population. They were historically Christian. They're like one of the few Arab Christian communities, but a lot of them are Muslim now, and they have been for hundreds of years. But Kurds were like, or they are our guys there. They have volunteered to go fight Iran directly. There's a big Kurdish population in Turkey and Iraq and Kuwait and Iran that have volunteered to go fight them directly. You know that they're going to have American, at least special operations with them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say it's just a matter of time before American service members are hurt, but it's already happened. It happened immediately. American service members were killed in this conflict that didn't need to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Something else that is not directly related, but something else that's been on my radar. Uh, Alex Jones was on the Duncan Trussell podcast here recently, the Duncan
Okay.
Trussell Family Hour.
Yeah.
And man, I started to lose faith in Alex Jones because he was still such a diehard Trumpian. Like he wasn't critiquing or going against anything Trump was doing. I think he was like 90% right on everything, but he was weirdly in the MAGA club. Well, his interview on Duncan Trussell Family Hour has him finally acknowledging like Trump's lost the plot. He's let all these people infiltrate his brain, and it's not his way of thinking, but he's just lost the plot. And yeah, so finally, Alex Jones is seeing the light and coming to terms with seeing behind the curtain.
He, there's just not a lot of support left. Uh, and I heard, I think it was today, I heard that somebody told him that the polling showed that 90% of Americans were in support of this war.
Yeah, I heard him tout
There's
that.
there's no way,
No way, no way.
impossible.
Yeah, unless they're only polling Sean Hannity listeners, like that's impossible. And yeah, it's just not true. I call it the emperor's new clothes. Like he's walking around naked thinking he's got these new clothes on.
Yeah,
Um, what do you think? I mean, what do you think the percentage of Americans that do favor this war, what do you think that is? Because even in MAGA's like hardest of hardcore groups, people have to be seeing through this.
I think so. I I feel like surely they are. I would say at most it's got to be 30%.
Oh, you're giving it more than I think. I think it might have been 30, but I think now, unless you're, which I know we do have the capability of doing this, of just burying our head in the sand and saying no, MAGA, no matter what. Um, I think it's like at the best 20. I think at
Yeah,
the very best 20%, probably closer to like 10 or 50. I think he got those numbers backwards. I think 90% of the
yeah,
country is against it.
I could see that. Yeah, but I don't know, man, because I do still on a regular basis. I do still. I saw. I was in a store the other day. I was in Shields the other day, and I saw a guy wearing a Trump 2028 shirt.
Yeah,
Or I
nuts.
see I see on Facebook people still talking about that's my president. This is what I voted for.
Man, I had a talk with a family member the other day. My wife and I were talking to someone I'm not going to name, but I was like, don't you see how bad things are going? And they're like, well, it's still my president. I still think he's got a plan. I still think he knows what's going on. I was like, no, no, he does not. There is
Playing
no
4D
plan.
chess.
Yeah, that's what it is. That 4D chess we keep hearing about.
Hmm.
But what sucks is like the people who you would normally disagree with, now this gives them all the leverage to say, yeah, look, I was right. Like, okay, I guess, man. I mean, you really can't argue with it now because, like I said before, or we've said it on here, is I think a baked potato could have won against Kamala in the last election. Man, maybe a baked potato would have been a better option than what we got right now. We're in World War III. Our economy is not doing great. Just because people's 401ks theoretically are appreciating is not making the price of gas go down. In fact, it's going to go up. The Straits of Hormuz, where all of most of the world's oil comes from, is completely blocked off right now. The Iranians have that in complete lockdown. So gas is going to go up. Groceries are already going up. They haven't been going down since he's been in
Yeah.
here. The
Yeah.
economy is not doing better. You could say the only thing good is that he shut the border down, and he did do that pretty effectively. But all the 10 million, or at least 10 million, some say like maybe closer to 40 million people who came in the previous 4 years, there has not been mass deportations. There has not been this thing that he promised of getting all those people out of here. That has not happened. So just as much danger as we were in 3 years ago, we're still in that. Those people are still here. Haven't gotten down. The danger hasn't gone away. The economy hasn't gone away. In fact, the danger's up now because we're in World War.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
knows how many Iranian sleeper cells got through?
It's it's more dangerous and more expensive now than it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we should have got a baked potato.
Part of me makes part of me wonders though if that's not just all part of the plot because again we agree that it's just different jerseys, same people.
Yeah,
I don't know. Um, I don't know. I don't know because then the other part of me thinks that there is no strategy. There
no,
is no 4D chess going on. There
no.
is no overarching theme or goal. Uh, we've just got a guy. We've just got a showman in office that can't admit that he was wrong, and he's just going to keep doubling down on everything.
And even worse than that, I think we have other countries, specifically another country, like I said, specifically, that is calling the real shots. Like it's not even the showman. It's not even the orange guy. It's someone else who's calling our shots while they take all of our money. And and our gas is going up. Our education is getting more expensive. Our healthcare is getting more and more less affordable. But they got free healthcare and free education and housing if you want it. The settlers can still walk into Gaza right now and just claim a house or in the West Bank or anywhere. The settlers over there can, and they're protected by their government to do so. So they got all the housing, all the health and education that they can. We're struggling worse than ever and in more danger. It's worse than just an incompetent president. It's someone else.
Yeah, you've got an incompetent president being led by somebody with nefarious motives.
And you have to ask yourself, like, is the Epstein thing related to this? Because they've recently, I heard on that show, and I saw it confirmed other places, millions of those documents that were released in the DOJ website are now being recalled and deleted. Like those files that were released are now being recalled, millions of them.
Okay.
Um, the reason there's a bunch of that only opens the door for a lot of conspiracies, and I've got a couple, but the people that the people that were gathering all this blackmail and gathering all this control over American politicians are still being controlled and blackmailed by these by these or by whoever was doing it. And I think you're seeing that now with the blind uh, allegiance to this other country that's not us.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Epstein stuff is pretty well related to it. Is not only are we not talking about Epstein anymore, we're taking that shit back that we give. And don't you talk about if you do criticize it, you're anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm.
If you do start to point out how the president of Israel was staying in Jeffrey Epstein's townhouse in New York, you're anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm.
What? That's not doing anyone any favors. That's only going to make the conspiracy theorists jump to weird conclusions that might or might not be true. But either way, you're not doing yourself any favor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty well convinced. I don't even think that it's a conspiracy anymore. I mean, I think that it's to me it seems very obvious that our government is being controlled by a foreign government,
Yeah.
and there sure seems to be there's got to be some reason,
Yeah, there is a reason.
and
Yeah.
and the things that have been uncovered in the Epstein releases, I think, gives a pretty good motive,
Man,
pretty good reason.
pretty good reason. I was hoping, and I said it on here before, I was hoping that the Clintons would come in and just drop a bomb and be like, yeah, we did it, the blah, 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 blah. Turns out, no. They just kept on doing the Clinton thing. They went in there and
Oh,
denied.
Bill was he was doing his thing, wasn't he?
Yeah, he the I saw recently he got shown some pictures like his lawyer handed him an exhibit that was being talked about in the committee of his pictures of him with these underage girls on the airplanes and getting massages and all this stuff. And he looked at it and was smiling, and his lawyer had to like snatch it out of his hand. It was like, "Hey, don't smile." I saw a thing today where there was a he was being questioned by a female interrogator, and he interrupted her by just to tell her how beautiful her voice is.
He still got it, man.
Still the old poonhound, poonhound
He's,
Clayton.
he still got it.
Yeah, yeah. There's been a lot to talk about, and I've said I don't know if I've said it on here, but I've said it to people before. This isn't my idea, but one of the purposes of a psyop is to make the people who are being affected by that psyop feel hopeless. So, like one of the if not the point of this operation that's going on is to make you feel, to make us feel like there's no hope left. Like, oh, I guess we're just screwed. I guess this is what we got now. Once you admit that, they have won. You have to have hope. There has to be recourse. And we don't know, you have to assume or you have to pray that it's not going to be violent, that it's not going to be a fireball, but that option still is on the table. Right now, we do have legal avenues of regress. We do have legal avenues to counteract this thing. Congress, we have three equal branches of government: legislative, executive, and judicial. Their job should be checks and balances, not not breaking protesters' hands whenever they come in and say, "I don't want to die for Israel." No one wants
But
to fight for Israel.
all three of those branches are caught up in some sort of scheme.
Scheme.
They've all been, I think, taken over by outside interest.
Mm. Yeah, you know, yeah, I don't know. I like to think that the judicial branch would still be the holiest of the other branches because their job is to just interpret laws and compare them to the Constitution and to say, yes, yes, you can, no, you can't. And that's why there's nine members on there. So it can't be, It can't be just one guy or one girl making the decision. It has to be all of them coming together. But even them are still making some wonky conclusions here recently. I don't know. The legislative branch, the Senate and the House, definitely seems like they're caught up and they're not going to do anything. Oh, did you hear they just passed something a couple days ago at the end of last week where they voted to conceal all of the cases of sexual misconduct from Congress?
I did see that, and the vote was absurd.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember what it was, but it was insane. Votes, uh, the number of negative votes not allowing it.
Yeah, not allowing it. I heard a couple people come together recently say basically condemning everyone who called for release of the Epstein files. Like you're now null and void since you voted to disclose all of the allegations or legitimate cases of sexual misconduct. Like what you say no longer matters. You're still hiding all of the sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
Still, you have to say it's not hopeless. Like you can't give up. We can't give up on this system because we have an imperfect but effective system. You still have to get loud, you have to make your opinion known, and you have to talk about it.
And you probably have to be willing to acknowledge that you were wrong,
Yes.
to acknowledge you were following the wrong dog, right?
Yeah.
You put your money on the wrong horse.
Yeah, man. I think I'm getting close to that myself. Yeah. 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 Which is why I still think libertarian is the best option.
Yeah.
At least they seem the most principled. And in like the theory of libertarianism, they absolutely are the most principled. Um, you have to hope for Thomas Massey, for Rand Paul, for folks like his dad, Ron Paul. Yeah, you have to hope and pray for people that are willing to stick by their principles over party affiliations.
Yeah. And over large donations.
Yeah, yeah, from APAC
Yep.
or from anyone, from Northrop Grumman, from Raytheon, from the insurance companies, from all of them. Yeah, like no, your duty is to Americans first, but really the people. Your duty is to the people, not who's going to make you rich.
Mm-hmm. This was a two-parter here, and I'm gonna have to go make some dinner here in a minute because I'm getting
That's
kind of
fine.
hungry. What is there anything else that you want to hit on?
Oh, um, no, I mean, I think I think what you're talking about, like with football and with jujitsu, I think it's kind of related to this on how it takes someone who might think that you know everything. Like I'm a second degree black belt in Taekwondo. I don't need to go learn another martial art. It might be take someone who's like, I'm a fit man. I don't need to do whatever to admit that um you don't know everything and to have the balls to put yourself in a position to roll your ankle, to
Yeah,
put yourself in a position where you can get your face bruised.
yeah. To be willing to kind of look like an idiot,
Yeah.
at least for a little bit until you figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, to be willing to say I backed the wrong horse in this race, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, you know what? Maybe we're not the greatest. We're definitely not acting like it.
And that's okay. It's because you can't make decisions off of information you don't have,
Right.
right? And so it's one thing to say, "Boy, I missed the boat on that one. I was wrong." That's okay. What's not okay is to say, "Well, that's my guy. That's my president. That's
That's my president.
yeah. This is what I voted for." Is it really?
Is
Or are you
it?
just saying that because you don't want to admit you were wrong? Or,
Right.
and I get this, like, even in sports, like, there are some fan bases. Yeah, I heard that.
Oh
Uh,
man.
there are some fan bases that you hate the team because of their fan base,
Yeah.
and in politics too, you got to be willing to say, yeah, this this podcaster, this uh, TV anchor, this whoever, this author, they might be like I might despise the way they handled this victory, but even regardless, I've got to be principled and be willing to say I was wrong, even if that makes them right, even
Yeah.
if that makes them quote unquote win. It
Or
is
else
what
your
it is.
principles aren't, yeah, or else your principles aren't really principles. You're just using that as another costume, another mask to say, I want you to see me as this, but that's not really who I am.
Yep.
That takes some hard inspection. It takes some hard inner looking, which is also related, I mean, to our big theme of deconstruction, even.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's kind of the same thing to be willing to say I thought I was right.
Yeah.
I believed with all my heart that I was right,
Yeah.
and I wasn't.
I wasn't. And I was presented with more information, and instead of choosing my identity over this information, I had to be honest and examine that information.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's the secret, brother.
That's the secret. Well, this was a shorter one, but I think a good one. We got two really good episodes for you folks that are going to be dropping soon. How's our new producer doing?
I need to buy her a computer.
Okay, okay. Well, as soon as she's got it, I got a cup. All of my days are going to be free. I my evenings are going to be tied up here starting pretty soon, but my days are going to be free. So, um, including the weekends or whenever, I'm ready to train her up in the ways of the Lord.
That's right. All right. Well, as always, I appreciate you, brother. Love talking to you.
I appreciate you. I love you. I love everybody listening. I'm grateful. We have some friends of the show that have been sharing our stuff lately. Um, Book Healing, my buddy Pedro has
Yeah,
shared a
yeah.
couple of our clips. Dan Hartley's still out there putting out good stuff. Josh and Prez are out there still doing their good thing. You guys be sure to check everyone out. Like, heart, share, subscribe, and we'll catch
And
you later. Oh, go
and
ahead.
introduce us to the people in your world that are saying the same thing.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I'd love to, or saying different things.
That's right.
I would love to get some more input from people that you, our listener, might want to hear us talk to.
Yeah, for sure. And we got more guests coming too.
Yep. All right. We'll catch you later on.
Catch you later.